Hi viewers, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone is doing good. So this is the next video on AMCAT Automata question series. I'm going to discuss a different concept that is almost used in most of the automata questions. Getting input for the matrix. So basically getting input for the matrix is important because most of the questions in automata as well as in automata fix deals with the matrix, either be matrix sum, matrix multiplication, or getting the spiral of the matrix. So first we have to do is we have to store the input as in a matrix form. So we're going to discuss how to store that in such a way. Let's get started. Before getting started, if you think my work is good, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So I've posted few videos in this series already. If you have forgot to check that, please do check that out. So today we're going to discuss how to get the user input for the matrix, or we can say how to store the values as a matrix in the memory location. Let's move on to the concept. What exactly matrix means? A matrix is a rectangular form of numbers. We're going to store the numbers in a rectangular or in the square form. So basically a matrix is going to have rows and columns. So in this example we have m rows and n columns. So basically the total number of placeholders that we have in the rectangular box is mn, because we have m rows and n columns, so m cross n is going to be the size of the matrix. So each place can be filled with a number. So basically we're going to fill all the placeholders with a number, and which eventually forms a matrix. If you see, this is an example of a matrix. A matrix can be represented with either square braces or a parenthesis. Now let's get into how to get the user input for this matrix. So the first step is we have to break the matrix into a table form, and we have to mark the number of rows and number of columns. So now I have broken into a table and I have marked the number of rows and columns. If you see, we have 3 rows and 4 columns in this example, but I have started the marking from 0. So 0th column, first, second and third column, likewise 0th row, first and second row. So we're going to store the matrix in this way, like first I'll be storing 2 followed by 5, then 3, 4, then 4, 7, 1, 5, then next row 3, 0, 5, 8. If you see, I've shown you a pattern. I'm going row wise. First I'm completing the 0th row, then followed by the first row, and then followed by the second row. So first I'm going to store the 0th row, 0th column, followed by 0th row's first column value, then 0th row's second column value, and 0th row's third column value. Then similarly, we are going to the next row. First row's 0th column value, first row's first column value, first row's second column value, first row's third column value. Similarly, we'll be doing for the second row also. Likewise, I'm going to store all the values in the matrix. Now we will code and see how this works. So as I said before, we're going to use two loops here. One is for rows and one is for columns. So one will be going through each row and other loop will be going through each column. And so we need two looping variables. So I'm taking it as I and j. So I will be using for row loop and j variable I'll be using for the column loop. So the total number of variables that we need for this is actually 5. One is looping variable for row, that is I. One is a looping variable for column, that is j. Apart from that, we need r and c. So we have to know the total number of rows and total number of columns. For that, we need to store that value. So we are getting and storing it in r and c. So this value can be a static one, or we can get it from the user also. So after that, we have to create a matrix variable of that size. So we have to create a two-dimensional array. So matrix means we're going to have rows and columns, right? So we are going to create an array of variables. An array with row columns and with row value and column value. So matrix of R and C. So R will be the number of rows and C will hold the number of columns. So now if you see, as I said before, first we have to take four variables I, J, R and C, and then we have to get the rows and columns. If you see, I have declared four variables I, J, R and C. After that we are getting the user input, like enter the number of rows and calls of the matrix. Once that is done, we are saving that value in R and C to get the number of rows and number of columns. So we have two loops here. We have to determine which loop should be outer loop and inner loop. If you remember, I said before that we are accessing each row and we're accessing each element in that. If you see, I told a pattern 2 5 3 like that it goes. So first you're going into row 0. In that we're accessing the zeroth call value, first call value, second call value, third call value. After that we're going to the second row. So we're accessing a row, and in that row we're accessing each and every column element. So row must be the outer loop. So for that only I have given a for loop. For I is equal to 0, the looping variable, I less than r. So we have 3 rows here. We will be storing the value r is equal to 3 in our example, and we are starting the index from 0. So for I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1 and I is equal to 2, the loop will run. When I is equal to 3, 3 is not less than 3. So the condition fails and automatically 3 rows are accessed. I plus plus. So once that outer loop is created, we are accessing the each column element. For that I have created another for loop. So the outer loop is for rows, inner loop is for columns. So for j is equal to 0, j less than c. So we have 4 columns, and obviously our c will be 4. So for j is equal to 0, j is equal to 1, j is equal to 2 and j is equal to 3, our condition will be satisfied. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Obviously we have accessed 4 times, so 4 columns are accessed. And j plus plus. After that, accessing the column element, I am saving the value scanf percentage d comma ampersand mat of I of j. So I'm accessing that ith row and jth column element, and I'm storing that. So first element, if you see, for I is equal to 0, I will be entering the loop. Once I enter the loop, the j will be 0. J is also less than the value of c. So I'll be storing the value 2 in mat of 0, 0. Once that is done, I'll be incrementing the j. So j will become 1, and 1 is less than 4 obviously. So again I will enter into scanf percentage d, mat of 0, 1. So once that is done, they will be incremented, and again I will store mat of 0, 2. Again j will get incremented, then mat of 0, 3. Once j is incremented, j will become 4. 4 is not less than 4. So I'll go out of this inner loop and I'll be incrementing the I. So now I will become 1, and again we will start the same inner loop. J will become 0. So now I'll be storing the value of 1 comma 0. Like that it goes on, it will be storing all the values in the matrix. This is a small logic that we use to get the user inputs. We can use the same logic for displaying all the matrix values also. So if you think my work is good, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Keep supporting.